Hi, my name is Susie. I'm a certified twin flame ascension coach, and today we are going to talk about twin flame communication and how you can have that communication right now. Okay, so we're going to talk about a couple things that might be disrupting your communication too, right? And that's going to range from being blocked to, being ghosted to just kind of being misunderstood by your twin flame or not heard. But first, I want to begin with how you can communicate with your twin flame right now, right? And so the first way you can communicate with your twin flame right now is by picking up the phone and sending them a text message. And I know some of you might be like, Susie, I can't do that. Unless you are blocked by them. Yes, you can, right? And the reason you don't, right, is feeling scared of what could happen when you do, right? And that's what needs to be looked at and worked on and healed, right? That thing you're afraid of when it comes to communicating with your twin flame is the thing blocking your communication, right? And if you feel like your twin flame is the issue, maybe because they're misunderstanding you or they're ghosting you, right? Then that is also for you to heal as well, because it doesn't feel good to be misunderstood, and it doesn't feel good to be ghosted. And if those two things are happening in your reality, that's a place where you can heal, right? So that you can, return to peace there, right? Like a real, true healed state, not a, false sense of I'm cool and none of it matters, right? But a real, true sense of peace there. Now, if your twin flame has blocked you, that is probably, for one of two reasons, most likely. First being you brought a lot of your energy to your twin flame, right? Not in the sense that you're too much, but just in the sense that you kind of maybe focused all of your focus on your twin flame, when the real priority of things goes God, you, then your twin flame, right? But if you're putting your twin flame ahead of yourself, and kind of making them the center of your world and the center of all of your thoughts and attention, then it's possible they blocked you because either they can, physically tell or energetically feel that, right? And that feels uncomfortable to them because that's not their rightful place in your life, right? Their place is as an equal partner to you. Their place isn't to be your source of love or validation or attention, right? Which is kind of how people might have taught you to approach relationships, and how some like karmic and soulmate stories teach us to approach relationships, and then incidentally we project that onto our twin flame when that is not how you have a relationship with your twin flame. The second reason your twin flame might have blocked you is possible there's other things going on. The connection just feels a little overwhelming at this point. And if that is the case, you still are tasked with healing how you feel about being blocked. About being blocked. It doesn't feel good. It doesn't feel good to be blocked. And that block is reflecting something, like where you're not focusing on yourself, or maybe you don't feel good about yourself somewhere. You don't feel good about the connection. You don't feel good whatever. Like it's whatever. Like it's going to be unique to you, but that's still the place to heal, right? And return to love, and return to love in that place. Your twin flame journey is ever teaching you is to return home to love, and that returning to love doesn't mean running after your twin flame. Running after your twin flame. To get that love, it means relaxing and really coming home to that love within you. And that place is where your twin flame can't meet you in love. In love, and it's where they're going to be most attracted to you. Returning to love when you're returning to love with trying to get love from them. Love from them, which is another kind of block thing that disrupts communication. Disrupts communication is when you're trying to get your twin flame from your twin flame, giving it to yourself. So those are going to be those are going to be the kind of primary things I see in twin flames who are having communication issues. Right? And so now that we've talked about picking up the phone and talking to them, and then we've talked about what might stop us from picking up the phone and talking to them. I also want to point out that you are in communication with your twin flame right now. You don't even technically have to pick up the phone to do that. You are in constant communication with your twin flame because you share one consciousness. Right? So you can always tap into the center of your heart. Meditate into the center of your heart. Feel your twin flame there. And feel what it is they desire to communicate with you there. Right? That is something you can do. That might sound kind of fluffy to some people. I know to me at the beginning of my journey, that did sound kind of fluffy to me, and a little bit unreal or unsatisfying. And it's okay to acknowledge that you want more. That you incarnated human body would also want to have a human connection with your twin flame. Right? With your twin flame, but it's important to remember the inner creates the outer, not the other way around. Which means it's important the inner work, spiritual work of coming to that place within you, where you recognize that there isn't separation between you. You are in communication with each other, and that's more than just a cognitive knowing. That's more than just some know. That's something that you know, that's something you feel in your soul, and you embody in the way you live, from a true sense of sureness and faith and confidence there. And and so the final thing I want to share with you is the way to heal these blocks in communication, right? Whether you're misunderstood, or you're just blocks from them, right? Or the communication, or there generates a lot of friction between the two of you. Is going to be to apply the mere exercise to what is blocking the aspect of your relationship. And some ways that can help you do that are below. I have my YouTube video on the mirror exercise and my masterclass on the mirror exercise. Find on my website. Those two things will help you with the mirror. Now, if you want to focus on communication specifically, and what blocks can come up in communication, and what's relating most to your union, and uncovering what's happening in your union. You can check out my communication workshop below, or you can book a consultation, and we can talk one-on-one about your particular situation. And determine the path to healing there is going to be for you, right? And how to best help you. Either of those options are great. Both of those options are great too. You don't have to pick one or the other. You don't have to pick one or the other. Those are the ways where I can help you help yourself with this, right? Right? Because I can tell you, I would not have figured this out by myself. I tried years on my twin flame journey, but I didn't really level up until I started listening to my own twin flame ascension coach, and your exercise every day, teachings of union and twin flame ascension school, and my purpose class, and that's my purpose class. Things really started to shift on my journey. on my journey, and
become much more clear,
and having those
old blocks fall away
on my journey,
and that can be for you
and
too.
that can be for you too.
So if you learned anything in this video, definitely give it a like,
and if you want more, subscribe to it, and subscribe to below,
you can find below,
we can meet, and how we can help you,
and how I can help your twin flame journey.
I will see you
next time.